planning all week to start this vlog reading Pet by Akwaeke Emezi, and it is Thursday. And I think I started this one on Monday. So yeah, I've been failing. It's mostly because I haven't wanted to make myself presentable for the camera. I kind of washed my hair a little bit today. Like, I didn't do like a full-on hair wash, but I got it wet and styled it. Anyways, my husband and I have decided to hire a cleaning company to come in and just do some of the deep cleaning stuff. So I'm out of the house right now with my son. My mother-in-law has some stuff going on at her house, painting, carpet cleaning, all this stuff. So she can't take him, unfortunately, so we're having a little mini date. I have to have the dog with me who's growling at things outside, and I'm trying to train her out of that, but they got a mind of their own. And she's a German Shepherd, so she's a guard dog. Yes, you're very good at guarding us, Peaches. She's really friendly, but I don't know why she's being so protective of the car recently, but whatever. It is what it is. We're just running into the library really quick, because I have a book I need to pick up, and I'm going to drop off a couple of books that I had taken out for my son. How do you get boys to get into reading? I picked books that he's interested in other things, like Sonic the Hedgehog. He likes the movie, so I picked a Sonic the Hedgehog book. He likes Adventure Time, the show, so I get him Adventure Time comics, and it's a comic book, so it was Sonic. It's not just like a reading novel with just words. And it's so hard to get boys interested in any kind of reading at all, but it's okay. He just turned 8, so that's fine. Not everyone's a reader, but as long as he can learn how to read, that's the thing I'm most concerned about. And he is learning how to read. Like, I'm not concerned that he's falling. I think he's a little bit behind, but I'm not concerned about him not being able to read ever. Just my concern is that they can read, not necessarily that they want to read. Yes, I'm going to run into the library, and then we have to go to the mall and Walmart today. So we'll see what's happening. Peaches! Peach! Peach! Our library is in the rec center, so there's always lots of people coming and going. So she's being a very good guard dog. And the weather's cool enough I can leave her in the car for a few minutes at a time, so that's good. So I will talk about this more later and my thoughts on it. I'm about halfway through and I do have some thoughts. Let's go to the library. Let's go, we gotta go this way. We're gonna go look for our book. Good. Here, our book is right here.
Yeah.
Not that book. Here. This is the book we're getting. Jeez.
Yay.
Now. These are the books for sale. Anyone else shopping with toddlers? Sit down. Oh, little stinker face. Jesper, sit your butt down. I need a pillow foam form thing for my project, but I need a like 10 or 12 by 12. The smallest they have is 16. And they have this. But I really want the pillow shape. Like, this would work, but I want the pillow shape. And the rest of the yarn, I just want to buy it because I'm trying to use up all the yarn I have. And I want to make a fall blanket. Jasper! So my son and I stopped at the mall and got the book. I needed my son threw this in the toilet when I was reading it back in August, and I had originally bought it from Thrift Books, but buying it new from the bookstore wasn't that expensive. It was maybe 12 bucks or something, so I was like, I'm just gonna buy it new instead of trying to get back through Thrift Books, because it would end up costing like the same, if not more, when you convert American to Canadian dollars, and then plus shipping. So I bought this. My son threw it in the toilet, and then my husband put it outside to dry, and our dog chewed it. And I can only assume she chewed it because she's a German Shepherd, and this is a Basset Hound. So this is a middle grade book called Smells Like Dog, and there's 3 books. This is book 1. There's 3 in the series. And from when I got into it, I wasn't even like halfway when I got wrecked. It's cute, it's fun. I just got it because it had a Basset Hound on it, and I had a plan to read Basset Hound books. It didn't go very well, but this is it so far. And then we got some Mr. Pretzel to eat and a drink, and I picked up these Fox mugs. There's this like little gift hut in the mall, and I saw these, and I showed them to my husband last time we were there, and he's like, you have to buy those, they're cute. And they're like a couple's mug kind of thing. They're $30, which I wouldn't normally spend, but it was a set. So you think about it, they're $15 each. So I'm like, okay, I wouldn't spend more than $15 on a mug typically. Even that's a little high, but depending on what it is, right? But my husband said to buy it on his next paycheck, and he got paid today. So I was like, I'm buying it since I'm already at the mall. I wasn't planning on it, but I saw them in the window as I was walking by, and I was like, oh yeah, those mugs. So Wild About You, and you are lovely. So I will show you guys tonight, me and my husband, maybe we'll make some hot chocolate or decaf coffee or something like that, and I'll show you our new mugs. I'm so excited. They're so adorable. I love foxes. My kids are off school. It's 2:07 and my kids are off school at 3:40, so I gotta stop at Walmart and then head up, and I will park by the school early-ish and just hopefully get some reading done. Yeah, that's the plan.
The mugs! You got the mugs. Are they gonna kiss? You gotta make them kiss. Clink. Oh, that's mine. Is this
Which one do you want?
Doesn't really matter. This one?
What do they say?
Wild About You. And this one says, you are lovely.
So which one do you want?
Wild About You, because I'm wild about you.
And you're lovely. Cheers.
Now it's a split cheese.
Hold on, cheers. I totally filmed.
Happy Friday. I am still reading Pet. It's taking me forever to finish this book. I am on chapter 10, which is page 155. So almost done. There is 203 pages. And I'm on 155. So about 50 pages left. Yeah, I have a lot to say about it. I don't know what to say right now, necessarily, but here comes the dog. She's going crazy, running around the backyard. Knocking over my baby. Peaches got the zoomies. My daughter took her for a walk and everything. Hi, Peach. Hi, you're eating dirt. So there is so much to say about this book, and I don't know what to say all at the same time. I am reading this book because of Books with Bonnie. She has an online book club that she just started. This is our second read. The first book we read was Eat and Love Yourself, which was a comic graphic novel, very short graphic novel. That one was really good. I unfortunately... Oh, Peaches! I unfortunately was not able to attend the live discussion of that book, but it was really, really good. The second book that she is doing is Bitter, but that happens to be the... Peaches! That happens to be the sequel or the prequel to Pet. So I'm like, you're picking a book that is like, comes out after another book and is part of the same story and everything. And so now, of course, we have to read these ones first to read Bitter. Technically, I could have just read Bitter, but somebody in the comments was saying that part of the mystery of this book is not knowing not knowing a lot about Bitter. Bitter is our main character. Her name is Jam, and Bitter is her mom. So we know that she has a kid and she's married, and the names in here are really interesting. Her name is Jam, and her mom's name is Bitter, and her dad's name is Aloe. Her best friend's name is Redemption. His family is like Malachi, Whisper, can't remember the other one. Redemption's brother's name is Moss. So really interesting names in here for sure. I guess you would call this, I don't know if this would be near future or way far in the future. They have gotten rid of all the monsters in this town called Lucille. I don't know if they've gotten rid of monsters in the world or just this town or what that setting is. Peaches, come join me. Come here. Come get some pets. Come. Come. I want a hug. Come here. You're ignoring me. I'm trying to gather my thoughts about what I want to say about this when I really should just be reading it. One thing in here that I hate about when people talk about this, and I know it's a reality, I know it's part of the world, I know it is true to an extent, about the hatred of like religion and organized religion and stuff. In these kind of books, all you ever see is the bad part of religion and what the organized system of religion has done that has been negative and harmful to individual people and groups of people as well. Now Jesper is shaking the table. Don't shake the table. Come here. As a person who did not grow up in any kind of faith or church or religious institution at all, and came to faith later in life, I can see the harm that has been done and acknowledge the harm that has been done in the name of God and religion. And not just Christianity, but any faith that somebody becomes very extreme in their religious beliefs. Are you going to be my book model? No? And I can understand the harm that has been done in that. But also, I feel like sometimes people just see the harm and it turns them off from God and from faith and from religion. And God even says, like, true religion is to take care of the orphans and the widows. It's not what you see in the media or in books and stuff. There is the church and what God or Jesus has established as the church, and it is meant to be a group of people, a body of people worshiping God and being God's body on, being God's hands and feet in this world. Look at your messy hair. Look at you. You're a disaster. You're not ready for camera. You're all dirty. Say I'm handsome all the time, Mommy. Say I'm always handsome. We are meant to be the hands and feet of Jesus and doing good out there. And because because the church is made up of a... Dude, I'm talking. Because the church is made up of a group of flawed human beings, a lot of discord and a lot of harmful things can come from that, unfortunately. Anyways, this book doesn't talk too much, like doesn't dive too much into the religious part of it. It's just a quick little blurb at the beginning that I was kind of like, that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. This book is also talking about hunting monsters, and it is monsters that don't look like monsters out there that you would picture with like the pitchforks or the fork tails. Okay. Jesper! Oh, he just dropped my bookmark down through the slats of the thing. That's my brand new bookmark! Monsters, human monsters. In this town of Lucille, apparently the monsters have been eradicated. There was what they call angels, and these angels got rid of these monsters. And these monsters aren't like what you would picture, like monsters. I should have been... This is a library book, as you can tell, and I should have been putting like post-its or something in it to like flag some of the places I wanted to talk about, because it talks about monsters like it's the unseen part of it, right? Like you see everyday people and you don't realize just like how corrupt and how much of a monster these people can be, right? Like, and that's the scary thing, is you never know just by walking down the street and seeing them, right? This is not the Jesper show.
Google.
Yeah, Google's talking in the house. Where's Peaches? Can you say Peach? Yeah, you show her the book. Don't let her eat it. Don't hit her with the book. No, owies. Oh, give you kisses.
Ma.
Oh. Okay, kisses. Can I have a kiss? Thank you. Anyways, you know, child abusers, spousal, just abusers in general, human traffickers. Just people who do bad things. Those are the monsters it is talking about, obviously. And these angels that had to maybe sometimes do some bad things to get rid of the monsters. Kind of like the ends justify the means. But we don't really know. That's kind of the mystery there of like, what did these angels do to get rid of these monsters? And are monsters... That's okay, he's cuter, so... Yeah. And are monsters actually gone? Yeah, are you dancing to the music inside? Is Lucille actually free from these monsters? I'm really fascinated by what or who Pet is and how they've come to be, how it has come to be. I don't want to talk about like spoilers or anything like that, but what Pet is, it's really fascinating and interesting, and I even looked up like fan art to see if I could see like a picture of what. You stopped my video right in the middle of a sentence. Rude. I wanted to see if I could figure out what Pet looked like, and there was a couple pictures, but not a lot. But it's interesting for sure. Anyways, I'm gonna leave that at this because baby's just going crazy and being all weird about it. Anyways, I'm gonna finish the book, and I'll talk more about it later, and hopefully start Bitter as well soon. Bye, Beaches. So I finished Pet today. Finally. It was good. It was not what I was expecting it to be at all. And I've only ever read Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi, and it definitely took me out of my comfort zone, and it was weird. Like, just an experience I am not familiar with. And I was like, it was good. I'm glad I read it, but I'm not going to pick up any more of their stuff. It's just not for me. And then Bonnie picked Bitter for the book club. And I was like, I was never planning on picking up Pet or Bitter. But these are like YA books, so they're not as explicit as Akwaeke's adult books, or at least Freshwater that I read. They're still weird, and I don't know the words to explain what they are. But it was very, very interesting, and I do have a lot to talk about. But it is almost midnight here, and I am just so tired. So I just read 2 pages of this, and I'm gonna hopefully read like the first chapter. This one definitely feels thicker than Pet. Pet was 200 something pages. This one's 261. Yeah, I'm gonna read maybe the first chapter and probably go to sleep. Hopefully get this done over the weekend, because I always plan on reading so much more than I can realistically get to, and that gets frustrating. Anyways, I'll check in tomorrow when I've read more. Okay, so we are just getting ready to head off to the library. The girls are going to a tween create that they do on Saturdays and do different kinds of STEM activities and art and creation, so that's fun. Hopefully for them. I know my one daughter really enjoys it, and my other daughter enjoys it sometimes. So we're gonna do that, and that's an hour. That's from 2 to 3, and I'm hoping I might be able to read like a page of this, because I will have my sons with me, and my one son is okay, but the baby tends to just like run away and not want to listen and just go do his own thing. So it's a little bit harder to sit and read when I have to chase the baby. So we'll see what happens. I unfortunately couldn't get a babysitter for the boys today, and maybe get a nice specialty drink or something, and yeah, just hang out and continue on with Bitter. I'm only 20 pages in, so yeah, and I want to read most of this today, hopefully. I've been mostly just watching YouTube videos and crocheting, but maybe I can find an audio of this. I'm not sure, but I will check in later. Happy Sunday, everyone. I finished Bitter the other day, I finished Pet the other day, and I am 90 pages into Bitter. I was hoping to get to 100 pages last night, but I was too tired, I fell asleep. That's okay, we will continue reading on today. I just wanted to mention with Pet, I don't want to give away any spoilers or anything like that, but I did talk about how Pet deals with monsters that we see or choose not to see in the real world, and how monsters don't always look the way we expect them to look. And I thought Pet did a really good job of, or Akwaeke Emezi in Pet did a really good job of showing the difficulty of knowing that there is a monster either within your own home or in the home of someone close to you, and you don't want to believe that somebody you know can be a monster, and you want to hide from it. You don't want to acknowledge it because it's so painful. But also, I think they did a good job of showing like that you can confront it and come together and love each other and take care of each other while dealing with the monster and eradicating the monster in your home. I thought it was very interesting that Akwaeke, I can't speak for them personally, but I think they are against at least organized religion. And I think the imagery in Pet, especially with angels, they talk about the angels taking out the monsters, and the main character in Pet, Jam, looks up what angels look like, and they do talk about angels like found, I think, in the Bible and stuff, because there's like the metaphorical angel, like you are an angel, you've done something in this world to better it, and you are an angel, or like the actual, what we think of as angels, like coming from heaven or some other realm with wings and the halos and stuff. And they talk about these angels looking scary and having all these multiple eyes and the wings and stuff like that. And I think a lot of that imagery does come from the Bible. And the Bible, like in Pet, the angels say like, do not be afraid, and that is from the Bible, straight up taken out of the Bible. Angels always come, and when they make themselves known to people, the spiritual angels make themselves known to humans, they always say, do not be afraid. And I thought that was a really interesting point, that there are monsters out there that look like me and you. You would never know. You would never suspect. Everyone says like, so-and-so was such a nice guy. So-and-so was such a nice woman. We never suspected that they could do these horrible things. And sometimes the angels, sometimes the people in our lives don't look maybe all put together or all clean shaven and well dressed and stuff like that. Like, they don't look the way we expect them to look. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. There's a scene at the very end when the monster's being dealt with, and I thought that was very graphic. Editing Becky here from the future, and I just wanted to mention that this scene in Pet at the end there, that the monster is seeing an angel's face, basically. And it really reminds me of the imagery in the Bible that talks about how we cannot look upon the face of God because he is so pure and holy and 100% perfect, and we are not. It would just like obliterate us. We would just like burn up and evaporate us, basically. And we cannot look upon that glory of God. And that's kind of what the scene made me think of. Like, just pure light burning away the sin in the world and in this specific monster. It wasn't so graphic, like it is a YA novel, and I think it was appropriate, but it was very kind of jarring. But it was really interesting, I thought, and I kind of picked up on a little bit of biblical imagery there as well, about like seeing the face of God and stuff and what that would do to you as an impure human being. So I don't know, I just thought that was really, really interesting. Now I'm into Bitter, and there's so much I could talk about in this as well, and I'm only on page 90, like I said. I don't want to buy these books. I can't afford to buy more books, and there's so many books I want to buy. I have like a list going on right now, but I took these out from the library, and I should be tabbing them, like at least with like sticky notes, so I can go back and talk about the things I wanted to talk about. There's so many things. They've already talked about how you can't have any ethical billionaires out there. And my husband was showing me a TikTok about this guy talking about how there cannot be an ethical billionaire because there's no way to like make billions of dollars just by like your sweat and tears kind of thing, by just working a 9 to 5 job, Monday to Friday, whatever. There's just no way to make that kind of money, right? And they talk about that in here, and the corruption of wealth, and how there should be no billionaires and stuff. And that has really come up a lot in conversations that we have had with our friends lately. So that's really interesting that it's in here as well. And they're talking about like riots and things like that as well, and they're part of like the revolution. Happy Tuesday. Reading this month, as I say every month, is going a lot slower than I have been expecting it to go, and I've only completed 2 books. I read Happy Place and Pet, and I got about 50 pages of Bitter left. I have a massive headache. My husband has been sick for the past few days, and now I'm getting it. Massive headache, a little bit of a runny nose, sore throat, aches, chills. The chills aren't too bad. When I went to bed last night, I had chills. Mostly just aches. Yeah, it's a pretty miserable day. So I am hoping I can finish this, even though I have a massive headache, because I'm just, for some reason, my body is not going to sleep. My daughter is home. She's also a little bit sick. She's helping me with the baby, so I want to get just a little bit of rest, and then I can go and hang out with the baby, and she can get some rest. So, the joys of motherhood and having little kids when you're sick. It sucks. I think he was actually sick first. He had the runny nose, and then my husband got sick, and my husband, like, never gets sick. That's very unusual, so, yeah, I don't know. Something's going around. The joy of back to school, September, colder weather, back to school, all that fun stuff. Everyone getting sick. So, yeah, I just want to give a quick little update. This is going really well, and hopefully I'll be able to finish it. I will finish this today, because I'm on page 208, and there is 200, and I think that's acknowledgements, 261 pages, and I'm on 208. So yes, I will get this done. So I finished Bitter like a week ago and haven't had a chance to do my wrap-up thoughts or feelings yet. I don't even know what my thoughts and feelings are. These are things I need to do like right after I've read the book. But I've been trying to go for early morning, well, not early morning, but drop the kids off at school and go for walks and enjoy like the beautiful fall, the colors, and enjoy the beautiful weather. And I was like, I'll just go for this walk and update the vlog at the same time and kill two birds with one stone kind of thing. And there's an elementary school across the street from here, and it's recess time. So this is the time I have, and yeah, it's going well. Updating and doing vlogs and stuff like that. How do people do this? How do people find the time? Yeah, it's fun. I've never walked here before, but I drove by yesterday and it was so beautiful. I was like, I'm gonna try it out. I didn't consider the school and recess time, but hopefully it's not too bouncy for you guys. I'm heading downhill, so I can't like pick up a book and read the quote I wanted to share, because I will lose you and the baby. You're on the stroller and the dog. So this is quite the workout for me. It's gonna be fun going back up though, that's for sure. But I thought I'd show at least a little bit of the beauty and the nature. We went for a really beautiful walk on Monday, and then Tuesday it didn't work out. But today is Wednesday. So there is this little bench here. And I was like, I'll just sit here and update you guys on Pet and Bitter, but it's all full of dew and wet, and I don't have anything to dry it off with. But I was like, the background is beautiful. But I don't know what I've said about Pet. So I read Pet first because chronologically Bitter happens first, but Akwaeke Emezi wrote Pet first, and then Bitter is the prequel. So Pet, we are following this girl named Jam and her family, her mom and dad, and then her friend Redemption and his family. But like, we're following it all from Jam's perspective, but those are like the main characters. And Jam's mother, Bitter, is an artist. I don't know what is spoilers and what is not spoilers, but there's these things considered angels that come and eradicate evil and whatever that might look like. And in Pet, we're learning like evil isn't obvious always, and it can be things like adults who prey on young children or the vulnerable and those who are unable to stand up for or protect themselves. I'm gonna turn so you can see scenery. It's so beautiful. You don't just have to look at my face panting and struggling on this hill. Jam manages to call forward one of these angels to eradicate a monster. They're just called monsters. And again, that can be just somebody like that you thought you knew and trusted, but is actually a predator and is hurting vulnerable peoples. Pet is this angel, and he is there to eradicate the monster that is in this town of Lucille. And Lucille was known to be really bad before, but the angels had come and dealt with it back in like Bitter's time and Jam's dad, Aloe. So Aloe and Bitter. Akwaeke Emezi writes beautifully and very vivid and has a lot of great lines in there. Like, if this was a library book, I would have been highlighting and tabbing it up and stuff. It's really interesting, and I find that it seems like they don't agree with organized religion, and I talked about this a little bit. Sorry, my stroller wheel is so squeaky. I find it interesting that Akwaeke Emezi seems to be against organized religion, monotheistic faith, believing in one God, but then uses a lot of religious imagery in their books, or at least in these two books, especially when it comes to the idea of angels and even what the angels look like. If you read descriptions of angels in the Bible, it's not large men with hails and wings. It's a lot more intense. So I think I wanted to update more on Bitter, as that is the book that we were reading for Bonnie's book club, Books with Bonnie. There's an online book club. I will tag her down below. Of course, you can check it out if that is something you are interested in. Looks like the kids are back indoors now. So it's actually a bit windy, and I don't have one of those special mics that blocks the wind. So I will end up closing out this vlog talking about Bitter at home in my cozy comfy corner. Probably my van is like right there. So we're gonna close out this very short walk. I'm on this back of the van, and I will talk to you later. So I am here to wrap up Pet and Bitter, and I am terrible at reviewing books, talking about my thoughts about books, all those fun things. So I have already rambled on for so long, and this vlog is already way too long. So I'm just going to wrap this up really quickly. I've talked about Pet a lot already. This is a story about a girl named Jam, and her parents are Bitter and Aloe, and her best friend's name is Redemption. And Pet unknowingly releases an angel into the world and into their town of Lucille. And Lucille is a very safe place to live. There isn't like any crime or bad people there right now, no monsters, figuratively or literally. And this angel comes and says there is a monster there, and this angel is there to eradicate that monster. And I've already talked about my thoughts and feelings about that, but that's the gist of what Pet is about. Now, the reason why I read Pet was for the book club that Books and Bonnie is doing. Sorry, my cat just heard the camera turn on and was like, I must get in the way. And Books and Bonnie's book club for September was Bitter. Now, Bitter is the prequel to Pet, and I heard that you should read Pet first, but I don't think it really matters or would change my views or perspective or anything like that. I think it could be read either way, it doesn't really matter. So if you just read Bitter because you were part of the book club or something and aren't sure about picking up Pet or whatever, or wonder like how it's going to affect your reading experience, I think you're fine to read them in whatever order you want. Now, Bitter is the story of Jam's mother. Her name is Bitter. Her mom named her that. They talk about that at the very beginning of Pet. You can read Pet to find out why her name is Bitter. This book takes place when Bitter is an older teenager. I think she's like 17, 18, something like that. I don't think she's quite in her 20s yet. She's a teenager, and she is at this school called Eucalyptus. And it is for artists around Lucille. And this is before the angels have come and eradicated evil. So there is a lot of revolution speak in this. There's a lot going on. The people are rioting and protesting the atrocities that are happening, the crimes that are happening, the evil in the world, and fighting against the corruption of the extreme wealth, and talking about how you cannot have an ethical billionaire and the redistribution of wealth and conversations like that. There is a political leader in here that is like the leader of the town Lucille, but when I read him, I was like, oh, that's Donald Trump. Let me know in the comments down below if you figure that guy, and his initials are DT. I can't remember exactly what his name is, but the initials are DT, and just the description of him, I read it to my husband and I was like, so Donald Trump, right? Just on like a smaller scale, but with the wealth. And Bitter is an artist, as you can see in the picture. Sorry about the ring light reflection there. That's the problem with the library books too, is they have this like protective covering on it, so it's hard to really show it off. But she is an artist, and you can see her paintbrush here, and she's got like paint splattered on her. What was I talking about? Bitter is an artist, and her art, I don't want to spoil what is special and unique about her art, but it is from her anger about some of the injustices that are happening around her that awakens these angels, basically, and brings forth these angels that want to come and eradicate the evil. It is really interesting because the people in Lucille are rioting and protesting and things like that I was talking about, against the government, against the extremely wealthy people, against the police force. And some of the ways that they see of dealing with the injustices that they are dealing with is they are okay with like violence and killing off the bad guys kind of thing, where other people are just trying to like take them, not kill them, but take them out of power and redistribute the power and the wealth and setting in place new systems to better the world and better the town of Lucille. You don't hear about anywhere else in the world. I don't know like where, I'm assuming it's in the States, Lucille, but I don't know like where exactly it is placed. It's just Lucille. They don't talk about any other places like at all. But one of the little tabs I put in here, you can't really see it, but I had one tab that I wanted to talk about in Bitter specifically, and they're having this conversation about how to deal with the monsters that are in power and in government. There's a set of kids from this group of those that are like actively fighting in the resistance, in the revolution. They're actively fighting and protesting and stuff. And they are the Asada kids. Basically, like I said, some of them are kind of for the brute force, the more violent ways of eradicating the evil, while others are saying like, no, we can't be like those who are oppressing us. We can't sink down to their level. There's just a really good debate back and forth about kind of like who's right, who's wrong, which way is better. And I really like that, because Akwaeke isn't just like, yeah, we should be violent and get rid of the people and treat them the way they treated us. Or like, no, we have to be 100% peaceful protests and kind of like more quiet and work in the background to fix these things. Akwaeke is like, no, here's both sides of this. And I just really, really like that debate. It wasn't black and white. It was very gray. Even though like each side, it's black and white to them, but having that nuanced conversation within the text shows that it is not a black and white issue. And we do live in shades of gray. I thought Akwaeke did a very good job of having these nuanced conversations within both of her books, but especially the one scene in here. And in both of these books, there are scenes that I just wanted to like climb into that world and be a part of it. In this, Jam goes to Redemption's house. Redemption has a family of a mother, a father, another parent that seems to be like gender, what is the word I'm looking for? Not maybe gender fluid or like genderless. I guess they would identify as like they, them. There's no gender assigned to them. Redemption has a mother and a father and this third parent named Whisper. And his like aunt and uncle are over and his little brother and cousins and everyone's kind of coming in and out. It's a little bit chaotic, but not in a very like, it's not stressful or anything. It's just the happy, joyful, large family chaos going on. And it just felt very welcoming and warm. And I was like, I want to go to his house and have dinner with him and his family and just feel so welcomed and loved. And I really enjoyed that. And then Jam comes from, it's just her and her mom and dad. Like that's it. A much quieter household and still filled with love. It was like a positive family to be a part of, but just a quieter and a different side of things. And there was a little bit more tension going on in her family because of Pet and the talk of angels and monsters and stuff. There was a little bit of tension there, but you could tell that they were a loving family that really supported one another. In Bitter, there is the friendship group that I really loved. I loved the friendship between Jam and Redemption as well. And Bitter and her best friend, I think her name is Blessing, and then Blessing's girlfriend. And they were just like such good friends. And I just love a really good friendship story and how much they love and support and care for one another. And then there's more friends that kind of get brought into it, including Bitter meeting Aloe through that friendship group. And then the kids at Asada, there is a little bit of tension between the kids at Eucalyptus and the kids at Asada, because the kids at Asada, like I said, are actively fighting in the revolution, where the kids at Eucalyptus are more focused on the art and their studies in this school. Not that they don't care about what's going on around them or that they're not fighting in their own way, it's just not as active and as obvious. So there's a little bit of tension there, especially between Bitter and this one other girl that is in the Asada group. There was a bit of a falling out between them, and you learn more about that through the book. There is a point in the book where Bitter ends up going into Asada, into their safe home, and the leader there, the woman who is the leader of the group, who is kind of like the mother of all the people staying in the safe house, all the kids. There's even some young children there that she's like reading a story to. And there's a point where she's like, okay, everyone get their tea. And they open up this tea cupboard and there's just like so many different teas to choose from. and they're all these kids are like kind of bustling around and grabbing tea and grabbing their cups, and you can just tell this is like a nightly ritual kind of thing. And I just wanted to go in there and have tea with them and just sit and be in this safe place and talk and just have that friendship and that comfort and the peace that is within the safe home in the midst of all the chaos. Like outside on the streets of Lucille, there is fighting, there is riots, there's fires, there's cops like shooting people and hurting people, and it's very intense and crazy outside, and just this quiet, peaceful place within the walls of Asada, and also the school of Eucalyptus is also a place that is safe for the kids. And I just love that. I think Akwaeke did a really good job of the atmosphere and talking about these specific scenes, and I really love that. So yeah, these are great books. I really enjoyed them, considering I was like, I'm not picking up anything else from Akwaeke Emezi because their adult stuff is like way too out of my comfort zone. I enjoyed the middle grade YA, not so much middle grade. It's a bit of a heavy topic for middle grade, even younger YA. I'd say maybe like 15, 16, depending on, you know, maturity levels and stuff like that. You know what you like and what you can handle, and you probably know a little bit more about your children if you have children around this age. But I would say like 16 plus, probably, maybe 15, but not middle grade. This is YA. I'm glad that Bonnie pushed me out of my comfort zone to read from Akwaeke again. So thank you, Bonnie, for that. And this month we are picking up, I just got from the library today, Kiki's Delivery Service. So I'm excited to dive into that as well. That is a movie I've actually seen, and it is a little bit less out of my comfort zone, but it will be good. I thought my cat was here and then he disappeared. Anyways, comment down below if you've read these books or any other books from Akwaeke Emezi and what you thought of them. I would give them between a 4 and a 5 for sure. Stars, I don't normally rate books, but they were good. I enjoyed them. And I will talk to you next time. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye!